The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
एक्सक्यूज मी
ऋषभ भैया,
चल एक बढ़िया सी छत दिखाना।
ये देखिए JSW कलर ऑन प्लस छत।
कलर ऑन प्लस ही क्यों?
सालों बाद आप फॉर्म में रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
आपके सर पे बाल रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
पर मुझे पता है, सालों बाद भी इसका रंग रूप सेम रहेगा।
फिर घर पे यही लगेगी।
JSW कलर ऑन प्लस छत 10 साल की वारंटी के साथ।
Hi, are you looking to improve the efficiency of your company in this modern hybrid and remote work setup where most do not carry laptops or where some staff do not have unique email IDs? To download the app, go to Play Store and search Easy Do Chat and install the app. Easy Do Chat. Make life easy. Available on Android.
Jindal Stainless is continuously developing the stainless steel landscape of the country. Jindal Stainless, because it's not just steel, it's stainless steel.
एक्सक्यूज मी
ऋषभ भैया,
चल एक बढ़िया सी छत दिखाना।
ये देखिए JSW कलर ऑन प्लस छत।
कलर ऑन प्लस ही क्यों?
सालों बाद आप फॉर्म में रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
आपके सर पे बाल रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
पर मुझे पता है, सालों बाद भी इसका रंग रूप सेम रहेगा।
फिर घर पे यही लगेगी।
JSW कलर ऑन प्लस छत 10 साल की वारंटी के साथ।
Hi, are you looking to improve the efficiency of your company in this modern hybrid and remote work setup where most do not carry laptops or where some staff do not have unique email IDs? To download the app, go to Play Store and search Easy Do Chat and install the app. Easy Do Chat. Make life easy. Available on Android.
Jindal Stainless is continuously developing the stainless steel landscape of the country. Jindal Stainless, because it's not just steel, it's stainless steel.
go to mymetalogic.com. On the top left, click on Subscribe. Click on Subscribe now. You are now on the card page of Metalogic subscription. Quantity refers to number of months. Change it to from 1 to 12. Click on Update Card. The subscription amount will be calculated on number of months selected. For 1 month, it is 500 rupees. For 12 months, it is 6000 rupees. Click on Proceed to check out. Fill the billing details and click on Place Order. Now you can choose your mode of payment. You have just made a right choice. Thank you for subscribing to mymetalogic.com.
एक्सक्यूज मी,
ऋषभ भैया,
चल एक बढ़िया सी छत दिखाना।
ये देखिए JSW कलर ऑन प्लस छत।
कलर ऑन प्लस ही क्यों?
सालों बाद आप फॉर्म में रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
आपके सर पे बाल रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
पर मुझे पता है, सालों बाद भी इसका रंग रूप सेम रहेगा।
फिर घर पे यही लगेगी।
JSW कलर ऑन प्लस छत 10 साल की वारंटी के साथ।
Hi, are you looking to improve the efficiency of your company in this modern hybrid and remote work setup where most do not carry laptops or where some staff do not have unique email IDs? To download the app, go to Play Store and search Easy Do Chat and install the app. Easy Do Chat. Make life easy. Available on Android.
Jindal Stainless is continuously developing the stainless steel landscape of the country. Jindal Stainless, because it's not just steel, it's stainless steel.
commercial first. We are live.
ऋषभ भैया,
चल एक बढ़िया सी छत दिखाना।
ये देखिए JSW कलर ऑन प्लस छत।
कलर ऑन प्लस ही क्यों?
सालों बाद आप फॉर्म में रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
आपके सर पे बाल रहेंगे।
पता नहीं।
पर मुझे पता है, सालों बाद भी इसका रंग रूप
Not have unique email IDs? To download the app, go to Play Store and search Easy Do Chat and install the app. Easy Do Chat. Make life easy. Available on Android.
Jindal Stainless is continuously developing the stainless steel landscape of the country. Jindal Stainless, because it's not just steel, it's stainless steel.
Are you all able to hear me? Just give me a thumbs up. Great. Good afternoon, namaskar, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Monica Bachchan. I'm a founder of Metalogic Projects Management Services. Viewers, I'm pleased to inform you that Metalogic PMS has completed 5 years on 3rd of January 2022. Today on 15th of March 2022, we are presenting you webinar on Gati Shakti scheme to bolster steel consumption in infra projects. Webinar sponsored by JSW Coated Products, Easy Do Chat app by Liberty Shipping, and Jindal Stainless. This is our 46th webinar during COVID-19 pandemic. I hope you have gained an insight from our last webinar on electric vehicle and solar energy opportunities for steel and auto component manufacturers, which was held on 24th of February. The recording and report of that webinar is available on mymetalogic.com at a subscription of 500 rupees per month basis. Do not miss to subscribe. This program is currently live on youtube.com/metallogicpms as well as on GoToWebinar. So in case users are finding any difficulty in joining the webinar through GoToWebinar software, can watch this program on YouTube/metallogicpms. Just a short housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the panel discussion, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. I will bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have time for questions at the end. Always mention your company name and organization which you are representing, and who would you like to address your questions to. We will also be having few audience poll questions. So I would like to request all the audience to stay active from the minute 1 to the end of the program, because your vote matters. And before I start, a little brief about the session to you all. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Gati Shakti National Master Plan for Multi-Modal Connectivity in October 2021. The Gati Shakti is a national master plan aimed at the coordinated planning and execution of infrastructure projects in India to reduce logistic cost. Gati Shakti will help ministries, departments plan cross sectors project better, monitor the implementation, review the program, and make course corrections if necessary, since all the information will now be available on the portal through satellite imagery. It is important to reduce logistic cost in India, which is currently about 13% of GDP, which is quite high, causing decreased competitiveness of Indian exports in the global market. By planning to close the gap between macro planning and micro implementation, Gati Shakti seeks to reduce the huge logistic cost. Gati Shakti envisage shaping India into the business capital of the world by implementing a comprehensive and integrated transport connectivity strategy that will considerably support Make in India. Projects such as expanding the length of national highways network to 2 lakh kilometers, the creation of heliports and water aerodomes, and the development of over 200 new airports, boosting trade by enhancing the cargo handling capacity and decreasing the turnaround time at Indian ports, establishing 11 industrial corridors and 2 defense corridors, and the expansion of gas pipeline network are some of the important aspects of the project. Now, I would like to leave the floor to our expert panelists. Today, our expert panelists are Mr. Rajesh Asati, Deputy Secretary, Sagarmala and PPP at Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. We have Mr. Mudit Chandra, Executive Director, Freight Marketing, Indian Railways. Mr. D. Sarangi, ADG, SNR at Ministry of Roads, Transport and Highways. We have Mr. R.V. Sridhar, ED and CEO Coated Steel at ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. Mr. Subrata Basak, Chief Logistic Operations, Tata Steel Meramandali. Mr. Ranit Rana, General Manager Sales and Distribution at Jindal Stainless Limited, and I am your moderator. Viewers, Mr. D. Sarangi, ADG, will join us at 4 o'clock and will stay with us till the end of the program. So to start with, we have Mr. Mudit. Mudit, sir, I would like to request you to please unmute your mic.
Hello, am I audible, please?
Yes, sir, you are very much audible to us. And sir, एक बार आप camera position कर लीजिए, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you're visible to us. So welcoming you, sir. Sir, I understand you have a very pressing issues coming up. So I will like to request you to share your thoughts. And I've shared a questionnaire with you. So from the railway point of view, since you're handling terminals, I would like to, understand what all projects and terminals are Indian Railways are offering the industry and people. So if you like to share with us, over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Bachchan, and very good afternoon to all the fellow panelists and the audience. Regarding these terminals which we are talking about, I would like to inform that Railways has recently, that is in December last year, we have launched a new policy of Gati Shakti cargo terminals. We already had 2 policies of terminals. Those who are familiar with railway working must be aware that we had a private siding policy and a private freight terminal policy. But there were several issues in those policies, and there were always some representations and demands from industry to relax those policies and liberalize them and all different issues. So considering all the demands and representations and what we felt that would help the Indian Railways as well as the logistics in the country, we have formulated a new policy, a single policy merging both the previous policies, that is Gati Shakti Cargo Terminal Policy. One major change, which was a long-standing demand and very pertinent demand also, was regarding the railway land which was given to parties on license. suppose a party wants to develop a terminal on his own land, then for connectivity portion, we used to give our land on license. In this policy, we have removed that provision of license because that license fee used to come in lakhs and sometimes even in crores per year. So we have completely removed that provision of licensing. Now, anybody is welcome to lay down railway line on railway land without paying any license fee to railway land. That is a one big major change which we have introduced. Other than this, we have streamlined the application and approval process. Everything is now online. A portal has been developed which is functional, and things are automated to the maximum extent. The maintenance of the terminal, except the terminal inside the terminal, is now taken by railways at its own cost. We will not charge anything for maintenance. So these are some of the major changes which we have introduced in this policy, which were as per the demand of the industry. And it will be, the audience will be glad to know that already we have commissioned 5 terminals under this policy within last almost 3 months. So the response has been quite encouraging, and we have received a lot of new applications also. Our target is to commission 100 new terminals within next 3 years. So around 70 locations have already been identified, and the identification is going on. And 100 is a minimum figure. We will certainly try to achieve much more than that. And one major thing which I would like to highlight, that till now, the terminals could be constructed only on private land. Now we have permitted construction of terminals on railway land also. So through open bidding process, railway land will be allotted for construction of terminals. So we are very bullish about this new policy, and we hope that this will be a big game changer in the logistics of the country as well as the cargo business of railways. That's a brief about what the cargo terminal policy is all about, the major changes which are there. So I would be happy if there are any questions or queries, I would be happy to answer.
I would like to welcome all our panelists. In case you have any query, you can ask Mudit ji. He has taken out time for us. बहुत मुश्किल से निकाला है, because you know, he was really keen that he wanted to share his views with all of us. So before he go, if anyone, Mr. Sridhar or Mr. Ranit or Mr. Subrata has any query, or Rajesh, in case you like to. But sir, one thing you have very nicely said, that you are coming up with 100, minimum 100 terminals, and the completion, the deadline is only 3 years, which is, I think, phenomenal. Sridhar sir, you like to add anything here? So just 1 second.
Ministries into one. 16 different ministries into one. It gives you seamless connectivity and last mile connectivity. For us, especially in steel industry, where most of the consumption takes place in the urban centers and all, tier 1 cities, etc. This gives us last mile connectivity. Take it to tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 cities, where the maximum demand we need to, propagate. And ultimately, if India's consumption, which is one of the lowest in the world, it's about 70 to 72 kgs per capita. And if we have to reach, forget about European levels of 500 kgs per capita, or South Korean levels of 900, at least the Chinese levels of about 300 or so. I think we need to have this last mile connectivity, which is being provided under this. And basically, most of the ministries will not be working in silos. They will be working sort of a synchronized way. So this is something interesting. And we have also started, basically this is about multimodal transport, I would put it that way. And we have also started using multimodal in a big way. For example, we have downstream plants in various parts of the country, and our mother mill is in Hazira, Surat. So we get hot roll coils, which is our raw material, through the various combinations of road and rail, sea and rail, sea and road. So various combinations, multimodal. And at the same time, we also dispatch our outbound traffic through, for example, we have a conversion plant in Gandhidham from where we supply to Kerala in India, I mean south of India. Normally road transport will cost about 4,400 rupees or so, but through this coastal sea route, where is a container service door to door from Gandhidham, take it, containerize the cargo in the plant. I mean, this is for domestic shipments and coastal trade, and take it to south. That is much cheaper. It's about 2,800 rupees or so. So where various multimodal sort of combinations and permutations which will lower the cost is something which we are looking at. And this Gati Shakti is an excellent sort of tool to get this. Also, the fact remains that India, 64% of the cargo, which is transported is through the roads. And then again, fuel is something which is not a part of GST. Diesel is not a part of GST. We don't get the input credit. Therefore, the costs are much higher. But if railways can be given the impetus and they come up with more interesting ideas like the one which has been just told now, perhaps, we can reverse this skew towards more of railways, and our transportation costs will come down. And government's emphasis on infrastructure will pay off in the long run. Let's say if you spend 1 rupee on infrastructure, the multiplier effect is 2.5 to 3 times. So if India has to meet the global levels of, like say Chinese are, like South Korea is, like US is, like for that matter, Japan is, after the Great Depression in 1929. US also put a lot of emphasis on infrastructure, and you see what the result is. Whatever is the infrastructure which is there in US has been established then. Similarly, China, etc. So we are looking at some sort of an infrastructure revolution, and where a combination of all the ministries, okay, and people breaking the silos between the various ministries, and we look for as a one sort of digital platform where all of this is available. It will be a great idea.
Thank you so much, Sridhar sir. Mudit sir, we have a little, small presentation which Ranit ji would like to share with you. If you have just 5 more minutes, and then I will not stop you, sir.
Thank you.
Ranit ji.
I am there.
Okay, Ranit ji, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible to us. And the screen is also visible. You can put it on slideshow mode.
1 minute. Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Monica ji, and good afternoon to all my eminent panelists, and thank you, Mudit ji, for having just stayed back for a few more minutes. We wanted to basically highlight to you, some of the pressing issues which we are seeing in the wagon business, and we would seek your, kind in the way forward. But before I start, just 2 minutes. Yeah, is my screen visible? Because
sir, it is visible, and the slides are moving also.
Okay, thank you. So, before we start, on behalf of the steel fraternity, we would like to thank our Prime Minister for having launched this mission. And it couldn't have come at a more, opportune time or at a more better time. The Indian steel industry is poised for a massive transformation, both in terms of production. I think the plan is to double the production within the next over the next 8 years. Plus, we are also targeting to increase our per capita consumption. And if we look at both the steel as well as stainless steel, we are 1/3 of the global average. And I think this Gati Shakti mission, with its focus on roads, railways, waterways, logistics, infrastructure, I think that opens up a very big avenue for steel and stainless steel consumption. So over the next few slides, I'll try to concentrate on one of the critical objectives of this mission. That is, how do we reduce the logistics cost and time? And I'll try to focus on the transportation mode because that constitutes almost 40 to 50% of the total logistics cost. Now, if we look at the mode of transportations in India, so as Sridhar ji has mentioned, almost 50% is served by roadways, another 35% by railways. So they form the major backbone of the transportation of the country. And if we look at railways and the roadways, so in railways, primarily it's the wagons, the coaches, and the passenger trains, which carry the brunt of the movement of passengers and goods. And if we look at the roadways, 90% of the transportation or the movement is done by the buses. So over the next few slides, we would like to highlight as to how we can reduce the cost of these transportation modes by selection of the proper material. And when we look at the material selection, there's a very beautiful study by Grant Thornton, and they have mentioned that we need to concentrate on three S's. That is, safety, savings, and sustainability. So when we look at safety, they mention that the material which we select, it should be crash resistant, it should be fire retardant, and it should have the proper combination of strength, ductility, toughness, and fatigue. And on savings, it mentions that the material which we select, it needs to be a high strength material, so that it enables lightweighting of the structures, and at the same time, the material needs to be corrosion resistant, so that we are able to get a prolonged life with minimal repair and maintenance. And finally, on the sustainability part, the material must be a green material, 100% recyclable. And when we select a material, we also need to consider the environment that we are operating in. And as you can see from this photograph, this picture, or this diagram, this is called the corrosion hut of India. And as we can see, the coastal regions experience extremely severe corrosion of more than 0.25 millimeters per year. And as we move inwards, the corrosion decreases, but then even by any standards, this is much higher than what we experience in other countries. So India, from this map, it is quite clear that 90 to 95% of the country, it falls under the corrosion region. And this has also been, supported by the International Zinc Association, who mentions that India loses around 5 to 7% of its gross domestic product every year on account of corrosion. And as per Professor Kamachi Mudali, the Associate Director of Indira Gandhi Center of Atomic Research, around 3,75,000 crores of rupees get lost or get expended on account of corrosion damage in India. Therefore, the corrosion is a major menace in this country. So if we look at, if we try to select a material which will be able to meet the three S's of smart transportation, as well as operate in a highly corrosive country like India, stainless steel, comes to the mind on a preferential basis. Reason being that, there is a unique property of stainless steel, which stems from the fact that it is a self-passivating in nature. So, unlike a coated steel or a painted steel, where, when we do the working with that steel, there is a propensity of the coating getting peeled off at some micropores, and from there the corrosion initiating. And once the corrosion initiates, it's very, very difficult to stop that. Stainless steel, on the other hand, because of its innate chemistry, the chromium, reacts with the oxygen to form chromium oxide. And even when this film gets broken, chromium oxide lends its the corrosion resistance. And even when the film gets broken, it immediately reacts with the oxygen, the chromium in the metal, to reform this film. And that is the reason why the longevity of structures with stainless steel is significantly higher as compared to any other coated steel. Now, with this, I would like to draw the attention of Shri Chandra on some of the issues, which are really, plaguing the railways industry, primarily the wagons and the coaches. So over the last few years, I had been visiting, several major wagon repair workshops, and I got the opportunity to see at first hand the extent of corrosion which happens on carbon steel wagons, which are primarily used for carrying coal and iron ore. And as you can see, after the corrosion, the heavy corrosion sets in from the 9th year onwards. And this corrosion is prevalent not only on the body of the wagon, that is the shell, but also on the underframe. And as you can see, the corrosion, it eats away the entire material, and that, makes it extremely dangerous to operate. And what we found out was that during these periodic overhauling, which happens after every 4.5 years, the corrosion cost is significantly higher. It varies from 2.5 to 3 lakhs per wagon. And, after 15 years, when the wagon needs to be completely stripped because of corrosion, this cost increases to 6 to 7 lakhs. And normally the downtime because of this corrosion repair, it comes to about 10 to 14 days. And I understand that Indian Railways consider the downtime as 20,000 rupees per wagon per day. So almost, the revenue lost during the downtime, it's almost 2 to 2.8 to 3 lakhs. And if we look at the overall cost, of these because of corrosion repair, over the total life of the wagons, it comes to about 23, 25 lakhs. Now, during this visit, we've also tried to understand the corrosion which is happening in a typical stainless steel made wagon. And as you can see, this is a wagon which has been used for 11 years. And till now, even after 11 years of service, we can hardly see any corrosion in these wagons. And we have done a very detailed, cost-benefit analysis with stainless steel, and the cost savings with stainless steel, it comes to almost 20 lakhs per wagon, which is a significant amount. And not only in box wagons, we have also seen corrosion happening in covered wagons as well. In fact, these for a covered wagon, which generally carries, cement. This corrosion sets in after, this heavy type of corrosion, it sets in after 20 years. And by the 25th year, almost the entire wagon needs to be changed. And although the total life is 35 years, yet, because of this heavy corrosion of the shell, a complete overhauling needs to be done prior to that. In fact, to address this problem, Indian Railways had introduced a stainless steel covered wagon in 2008-2009, which is called a BCNHL wagon. But unfortunately, the operations, these wagons have now been discontinued. And I'm just sharing some of the figures which I've culled from the RTSO reports, which states that, the BCNHL rakes, that is the stainless steel rakes, they generate almost 1.5 times more revenue than a carbon steel covered wagon. And the commodity is cement, which is the main, commodity which is carried by these covered wagons. And as per the RDSO annual report of 2008-2009, a BCNHL, that is a stainless steel covered wagon, it generates an additional revenue of 9 crore per year when it carries cement. So, we would request Indian Railways, the Railway Board, to please have a relook at it and again reintroduce the stainless steel covered wagons, because it generates a lot of revenue for the Indian Railways. Now, if you look at globally, stainless steel is the preferred material for wagon manufacturing across the world. And I just share with you one case study for South Africa, where these bottom discharge wagons, they have been completely made out of stainless steel, the shell, the underframe, and this is the condition of the wagons even after 20 years of service. That means, there is absolutely no corrosion, there is absolutely no a weld-related fatigue or cracks. And what they are predicting in South Africa is that a stainless steel wagon could last them for 50 years. And if we extrapolate these findings to the recent tender which the Railway Board had floated about 2 weeks back, amongst out of 90,000 wagons, almost 50,000 wagons are in carbon steel. And these are basically the covered wagons in carbon steel, the bottom discharge wagon, and the BOST wagon. There's a box wagon. Now, if these wagons could be converted into stainless steel, then there is a tentative cost savings of approximately 20 lakh per wagon, which translates to 10,000 crores over the current codal life. And if we are able to increase the codal life to more than 30 years, currently it is 30 years, if you are able to increase it to 40 years or 50 years, as is happening in South Africa, then the savings would translate, would multiply. So this is, an area where we would request the kind intervention of the Railway Board so that, wagons which are facing corrosion could be converted into stainless steel. Similarly, in coaches also, if you look at the current fleet of LHP coaches, the entire shell is made out of stainless steel. But there is,
Ranit, requesting you to please finish in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So if you look at the underframe, that is in, it's still in cotton steel, and it also undergoes significant corrosion. So RDSO had suggested, a stainless steel grade 201 LN, which if it is used, it will result in a savings of almost 30 lakhs per coach over the codal life of 30 years. And this is the first step which has been initiated by Railways. So 100 numbers of stainless steel coaches with stainless steel underframes have been put into operation in the Western and Northern Division since June last year, and almost 9 to 10 months have passed, and there is absolutely no issue with stainless steel underframes. Stainless steel, besides being a corrosion-resistant material, it can also offer lightweighting of coaches. And we can there could be a lightweighting of almost 4 to 5 metric ton. And I understand that if we look at alternate materials, the weight reduction could be 2 metric ton. And with stainless steel, if we are able to we can get these lightweight coaches at almost 1/5 the cost of alternate materials. So this is also something we can offer to the Indian Railways. I'll just move over to the buses. There also, we face similar problems in corrosion. And these are actual photographs which I've taken from the Kengeri workshop in Bangalore after 4 to 5 years of use. And if we convert these into stainless steel again, the life cycle cost savings could be almost 14 to 15 lakhs. I'll just share with you some of the global references. Globally, if you see Greyhound in US, Silver Eagle in UK, Optare, Scania, Volvo, Solaris, they all use stainless steel for their bus bodies. And the electric buses in Europe, they are primarily made out of stainless steel, both the superstructure and panels, and the major reason being, one, longevity. Secondly is the weight reduction to increase the life of the batteries. Similarly, this is the newest initiative which we've taken, where we are trying to introduce stainless steel in the bridges. As you can see, globally, stainless steel is the preferred material for bridges because of the longevity that it offers. But in India also, from the last 2 or 3 years, we are seeing the first footprints of bridges in stainless steel. And these are stainless steel reinforcement bars, which we would request the ministry to consider. And finally, our thanks to Gadkari ji, because he has voiced the requirement of stainless steel for making corrosion-resistant structures, and we are extremely thankful to him. So our recommendations is, one, when we are selecting a material for fabrication of wagons, coaches, buses, bridges, let us focus on the life cycle costing. Secondly, in order to give a level playing field, the steel suppliers should have both a melt and manufacturing facility in India to promote Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India policy. And finally, we would request the ministry to consider stainless steel for electrification of vehicles, wagons, coaches, buses, where corrosion is a major issue. So the last slide, we are foreseeing a significant jump in the stainless steel demand, and therefore we are undergoing a major expansion so that we are able to cater to the requirements of the country. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is this was all that I wanted to share with you.
Thank you so much, Ranit. That was a quite eye opener, and the photographs which you have presented that has given quite an example of the corrosions which railway and other transports are having. So Rajesh, right now we are having the part one where we would like to understand from you that if you could throw some light on the projects which your ministry is undertaking and as a part of PM Gati Shakti scheme, sir.
Yeah, sure. As we all know, India has a coastline of around more than 7,500. It has around 12 major ports and more than 200 non-major ports. So, and at present, with a total capacity of around 2,500 million metric ton, we are handling just 50% of capacity. Means something around 1250 something. So yes, we have planned quite a few things. And as far as PM Gati Shakti is concerned, I just want to inform Mr. Sridhar also that the port is under development right now. Yes, all ministries are connecting with it. DPIT is taking lot of labor right now, from a special secretary to the joint secretary, everyone taking daily meetings, daily follow up. Basak is completely been thrown into it. They are making layers and layers of every data, every ministry. As you have told, 16. I think more than 16 ministries are right now, involving themselves, providing the data to this portal, and maybe it will get finalized within a month, by next month. But before that, DPI is taking daily review meetings for all the projects of Gati Shakti. Whatever any ministry has submitted to them, they are coordinating with everyone. It's a daily process. It's not like somebody has submitted and then forgot. No. Taking daily reviews with every ministry, what are their issues with every project. It's not about only ministry. They are discussing every project. What is the issue? Where is it is pending? Is it having any problem with any other ministry or not? So they are into it from the day one. And I think as soon as this portal will get live, every user from government to the end users, everyone can see what is happening with every project. So whenever you want to do or you want to start any project, just if somebody wants to have a maybe new road, so you just draw that road on the portal, and portal will give you the answers. Which are the ministry that you need to contact first? How you need to proceed? What will be the application procedures? So everything will get digitized, and you need not to talk to anybody. You need not to go to any ministry or any department.
So ये portal अभी बन गया है or is it under execution right now?
It is under development right now. So by preparing all those layers of data that will be merged. So most of the layers are already ready. Layers of MRTH, ports, this what you can say, irrigation, forest, environment, everywhere. So every department is collaborating right now. Hundreds of people are working right now and preparing that database. Once this is ready, I think maybe by next month, maybe. Once
Next
it will
month.
be ready,
okay.
maybe I'm not sure about that, because everybody is, on toes right now. So maybe it will get private, maybe next month or maybe.
We totally understand that.
But
Sir, I like to know that under the PM Gati Shakti scheme, how the scheme is ensuring the PPP in infrastructure creation, planning and development, and how will the government ensure the success of PPP? Because I believe all the projects are through PPP, isn't it?
No, it's Gati Shakti. It's not about PPP thing. It's not like that. You have to do PPP. Gati Shakti, as I told you, it's about coordination between the departments, right? Just Mr. Sridhar has told, everybody is working in their silos and nobody talking to each other. So right now, those silos are getting broken. We are collaborating day to day for everything. And after this portal will get live, these personal interactions will not be the requirement. That portal will bring all the things for us. So it's not only about the infrastructure; it is also coordinating with the technological things. So you will have maybe heard around this ULIP thing. So that will be a digital transformation. So everyone will be knowing what is happening with their cargo, where it is going, what is the location of the cargo from the port during the its transit in the road, on the road, or maybe on the railways up to the end user.
Right, sir. In fact, the next question which I was about to ask you was this only, that how do you plan to resolve issues related to last mile connectivity and multimodal logistics?
Ma'am, we have already undertaken so many projects in PM Gati Shakti as well as in Sagarmala, basically, actually. So Sagarmala is our flagship program. So, there are more than 200 projects of this logistics, and out of which around more than 50 projects are already completed and another 200 are under pipeline. So, we are developing so many coastal jetties from West Bengal to Gujarat. So there will be development of so many coastal jetties as well as this RoRo, RoPax terminals. So which will be used for basically for steel also. I'll just give you some figures. For steel demand, yes. We have around 29 existing coastal berths and another 14 are under implementation, and the 16 are in pipeline. So with all these things, means it's projects of around 15,000 crores. So with the development of this 15,000 crore jetties, we are going to cater 30 million tons of coastal movement of steel only. For steel, we have done this, and we have planned for additional 110 million tons. So it will be an overall cost and saving of around more than 5,000 crore per annum for this entire sector. So this is how, means from the steel movement is from west to east. From east to west. So by having these jetties all around the coast, we are going to promote this steel movement, and by this RoRo ferry, RoPax, these all truck movements will get benefited. The last mile connectivity that we are talking about. So no need to transfer goods from truck to the ship and then ship to again to the truck. Those trucks can be loaded directly to the ferry and then they can move up to the last mile. So these are small initiatives that we are taking right now, and yes,
absolutely, sir. So I would like to raise one poll question to our audience. Audience, be ready to respond to the poll question. My question is to you. India's average logistic cost is approximately 13% of GDP, as against 8 to 9% for advanced economies. I'm talking about the other countries where the logistic cost share is about only 8 to 9%, whereas in India it is 13%. So do you feel through this scheme, Gati Shakti, the cost will reduce, the logistic cost will reduce or freight rate will reduce? You have three options: yes, no, and can't say. And the people who are watching this program on YouTube can comment your answers in the comment section. You can also give some suggestion and raise question in the comment section. So the question is, India's average logistic cost is approximately 13% of GDP as against 8 to 9% for advanced economies. So do you feel through this scheme, the freight or logistic cost will reduce? Please start answering very quickly. And I would like to, raise the same question to Rajesh ji, to you also, after the response of our audience. Okay, I'm closing down the poll now. Result on your screen. So the result says 85% says yes, the cost will be reduced, while 12% still says no, and 3% are can't say. The majority goes with 85% that cost will be reduced. So Rajesh, what is your take in this, as in by when we will start really seeing the cost reduction with regards to freight or logistic cost on cargo movements, sir?
I think by 24-25 result will be visible, more visible. Yes, we are into it right now, and by 24-25 visible to everyone. And with the development of these coastal jetties as well as the inland waterways, that's going to be a game changer here. So the work that we, right now is going on for inland waterways and all those development of terminals on those waterways, it will really change everything. Once it will get developed, means there is tremendous work going on right now. So once it will develop, you will see the results. It will be a drastic difference. Means right now, as you see now, say that 13% is the cost. It will bring it will drop down considerably afterwards. Means after something around 24-25, it will be reduced.
Right, sir. So I'm raising one more poll question, and after that I will start the steel producers view part 2. So this is my next question, poll question. So audience, please be ready. My next question to you is, do you feel private participation, demand and investment, from the point of view of demand and investment, would play an important part in making Gati Shakti a success? So the question is, do you feel private participation with regards to demand and investment, because I'm pretty sure this project requires a huge investment, would play an important part in making Gati Shakti a success? Yes, no, can't say. So before answering, please think for a second and please answer then. We will be including all these poll questions in our report after the webinar. So it is extremely important. So do you feel private participation with regards to demand and investment would play an important part in making Gati Shakti a success? So we have the response now. Answer on your screen. So 95% says yes, and 2% says no, and 3% are on can't say. So 95% is a huge percentage we have. Now we are starting the part 2 of our program, which is we will be taking up questions from the steel producers point of view. We have 3 steel producers here, Mr. Sridhar from AMNS, Mr. Ranit, Rana, and Mr. Subrata, Basak. So Sridhar sir, my question to you is, how AMNS India is planning to support PM Gati Shakti scheme, and what all products you have to offer for infrastructure? One more question I would like to add here, sir. For quoted products, where do you see the demand generation under the scheme? Sridhar sir, over to you.
Okay. So let's start with the roadways. We had a world record of having 38 kilometers per day of roadways construction. But now I believe, as per Mr. Nitin Gadkari, that this we are going to beat our own record. It is going to be 50 kilometers per day. Now, with this excellent work which has been done by his ministry, and for all the roadways which are going to be built, yeah, there is a highway code also, as you know. Every 5 kilometers, you need to have a petrol pump, petrol canopy, and toll nakas and all that stuff. So this will add to what you call as consumption of color coated steel and all, because all of this is used for petrol pump canopies, for toll nakas and all that. Apart from this, we also have this crash barriers, or what we call as guardrails, which require a high density, heavy duty zinc coatings and all that, 300 grams plus. So all these things are going to require a lot of coated steel and steel in general as well. And then we are also going to put up a lot of pipelines, which is part of this Gati Shakti and all that. And each of these pipelines, the API grade steel, which AMNS manufactures in a big way. So this is also going to give a lot of push. Apart from this, we also have these railways, which all these railway stations, which used to be earlier asbestos roof and all that stuff. Now, all of these is replaced by color-coated steel. And also railways is going through by 2030 is going to be carbon neutral, and they're doing electrification in a big way. So as we find that with this laudable objective of being carbon neutral by 2030, lot of energy efficient color coated steel and all that. I mean, in fact, our company was the first in the country in terms of color coated steel to have CII, what you call as Green Pro Eco Label. So these sort of things, are going to give a lot of push. Apart from this, we also have all these bridges which are coming up in a big way, and our plate mill, which is one of the widest in the country, at 5 meters. So a lot of steel is going to be used for windmills, for bridges, so on and so forth. All this construction, which is going to happen in a big way thanks to this Gati Shakti, pre-engineered buildings and all. So all of this is going to help steel consumption in a big way. One thing which I said earlier, that this Gati Shakti provides seamless connectivity and also last mile connectivity. Now, once this last mile connectivity comes in, and it's already coming in a big way. So we have seen that last year we sold 61% of all our sales in the tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 cities, not in the major metro hubs and all that. So now this is going to catalyze India's development. It's a win-win situation for the industry as well as the country. So this is one of the fallouts of having this Gati Shakti, where last mile connectivity is going to be boosted. So apart from this, we also have Gati Shakti, which is going to come up with GIS-based enterprise resource planning and ISRO imagery, and we also have this 200 plus layers of evidence-based decision making. There's a lot of IT support. So this is going to streamline the thing in a big way. Also, one of the laudable objectives of Gati Shakti is this optimization, which is the best way of multi-modal, which is the best way of delivering cargo to a particular place. Normally we have this turf wars, railways or roadways or this or that. So there is a central nodal agency which is going to optimize which is the best way of taking it forward. Now, we have seen these peculiar situations where, I mean, if you work in silos, the road ministry will lay down all the highways. Then there is another ministry which has to lay down the cables and all that. So whatever roadways which have been put in, they have to be dug again. So why can't these two things go together? That is to say, laying of the roads, the highways, as well as the cables and all going simultaneously together. So these are some of the things which this Gati Shakti is going to, disjointed networks, this is going to be eliminated altogether. And okay, apart from railways, roadways, and construction, and bridges and API pipelines and all which I've talked about, there are also these airports which are coming up in a big way. If you go to Mumbai airport, this Chhatrapati, not the terminal T2, all those curved colonnades and arches and all that stuff. Again, we are proud to say that it is made of AMNS, earlier Asati. So all this is going to give big boost to our steel consumption. Then again, I'll add 2 or 3 more points. One is this, India is one of the largest producers of food grains in the world, about 60 million tons or so, but 7 to 8% of them rot away. So government of India is coming up with food silos, grain silos, wood silos, or whatever you call it. And this requires heavy duty coatings and all, which AMNS is in the forefront. Similarly, solar. India has 100 gigawatts of renewable capacity at this point of time. By 2030, the Prime Minister has given a clarion call that we are going to have 500 gigawatts, one of the largest renewable energy, centers in the world. So, which means 400 gigawatts has to be put in this 10 years, which means 40 gigawatts per year. Now, this again requires a lot of specialized steel and so on and so forth. All this AMNS is going to be at the forefront. Why only AMNS? I'm talking about the Indian steel industry in general. We are going to do it in a big way. All these are going to use steel and steel consumption in India, which is about 100 million, 110 million tons now. The goal of the government is to have 300 million tons by end of this decade. So all of this is going to be met. I will end my talk with a small thing. India has constructed since 2019 about 111 million toilets all across the country. What is Swachhata Abhiyan and all that. All these toilet blocks are color-coated steel. So this again, simple but effective. This is going to give a great fillip to the consumption of steel, especially color-coated steel in the country. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sridhar sir. My next question is to Mr. Subrat Basak. Sir, so the question is, now we see huge demand for domestic steel coming up through this remarkable scheme. So how much steel demand do you see it will generate? Subratji, over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So, in my opinion, Gati Shakti scheme will boost domestic steel demand in two ways. One, usage of steel in upcoming infrastructure project, as Mr. Ranit and Mr. Sridhar has already said. So, the 100 lakh crore investment plan for the government for infrastructure development in next 5 years under this scheme. So, under this scheme will obviously boost the users of the steel in the country. The development of smart cities, industrial corridors, then project powered by Sagarmala, Bharatmala, going to increase the steel consumption. Secondly, Gati Shakti will enable access to the untapped market. Surely, the apparent use of steel per capita, in India is 64 kg, while the world average is around 228 kg. The steel market is, remains highly untapped in India. One of the major reasons is because of the accessibility in the rural market. So with better connectivity powered by this particular scheme, we can expect the increase in rural consumption of the steel and thereby the steel consumption. The scheme will also give much needed legs to development and logistics across India. This is going to drive economic growth and to give a boost to industries such as steel, wire, construction equipment, commercial vehicle, and many other things. Other targets like making the 400 new Vande Bharat trains, 100 cargo terminal will increase the demand for multiple industries, including steel. So Tata Steel, we also offer many products in construction, in infrastructure segment, like TMT rods, tubes, API. There are coated products. So all these things is definitely going to increase and will be used particularly under because of this particular scheme. Considering all these factors, we can foresee a steel consumption of around 160
Subratji, your voice
million
is
ton by
breaking.
2024-25 and about 250 million ton by 2030-31. And most of the production facilities will come to eastern part of the countries and especially in Odisha. Over to you, Monica ji.
Thank you, Subratji. With this, we would like to welcome Mr. D. Sarangi, who is with us now. He's a ADG SNR at Ministry of Road, Transport and Highways. So we welcome you, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Sir, Mudit ji was here and he told us about a lot of things which Indian Railways is taking up, a lot of initiatives under PM Gati Shakti scheme. And we have Mr. Rajesh Asati ji, also from Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. He has also shared a lot of plans from his department. So I would like to raise one question to you that under your ministry or department, what all projects have been taken under the scheme, sir?
The purpose of Gati Shakti is a mutual facilitation. Like we have our highway projects during implementation. We seek clearance from so many people. We acquire land, we divert forest, we have to go through sometimes wildlife sanctuary. We cross railway lines, we have utilities on our land which we want to shift. We acquire land. And all these activities which we bracket like pre-construction activities in general, uh, it has been taking a very, very long time. So also happens with other departments because one department is not aware about the happenings, the plan, the program of other departments. So with Gati Shakti, the main idea is that all the infrastructure sectors will mutually benefit from each other. It will help expedite all these clearances. It will help individual sectors to plan their own activities in a more efficient manner. Like we have now a scheme now under this Gati Shakti master plan. I think after 1st of April, all projects costing more than 500 crores, we have to upload the alignment plan so that anybody who is also planning something nearby, they are aware of our project. They can plan if it has to cross our project somewhere, what clearance has to be taken, when to be taken, and then uh, among the different modes, so each of us will have the better knowledge or understanding. So if I want to improve, I want to develop some project or some existing facility, so how other facilities are going to be affected and what other facilities are being taken off, so that I can plan and execute my facilities in a much better manner. As of the projects you asked, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has initially planned about 206 corridors, but 38 very, very important corridors, which mostly include greenfield expressways, tunnels, very long bridges, and those kind of projects, around 8,731 kilometers. This has been already on the Gati Shakti master plan out of the 206. And these projects, because they are substantially in the greenfield alignment, not simple capacity augmentation of a existing road from 2 lane to 4 lane or something of that sort. So there is a lot of benefit from the Gati Shakti to make our alignment plan in a very efficient manner, so that the ultimate efficiency of transport of both cargo and passenger can be more efficient, and simultaneously we can get all our clearances very quickly, so that project implementation can be fast.
Sir, what are the timeline has been set for the projects? As in, there must be some kind of roadmap and timelines. No, you might have prepared.
Yes, it's not a general guideline for all the projects because it depends upon the individual project preparedness. You know, we have been scaling up our activities a lot. That in 2014-15, the per day construction was somewhere around 12 kilometer per day. Now this has gone up to 37 kilometer per day. So when we have this kind of massive planning, So it's a kind of very dynamic situation. Every day situation changes. To have a pinpoint date for all the projects is not there, frankly. But all these projects are in very advanced stage, and these 48 projects that I referred to. So by 2024-25, this should see the light of the day.
So
Maybe by
Sarangi sir,
24, it will be largely possible, but one more year it may take.
okay. So, sir, 81 high impact infrastructure projects make it to Gati Shakti list, like key expressway and highways such as 1,257 kilometer Amritsar to Jamnagar expressway and 1,350 kilometer Delhi to Mumbai expressway and 210 kilometer to Delhi Saranpur Dehradun expressway, and the world largest broadband project of Bharat Net will be among the government priority. So how do you plan to execute these projects, and what will be the monitoring mechanism, and what opportunities the companies like PSUs and private steel manufacturers finds here, sir?
See, to start with, earlier we used to have separate consultants, because this implementation mechanism, particularly in National Highway Authority of India, is a very, very lean and thin organization. So we take help of consultants both for the project preparation and also for construction supervision, which we term as authorities engineer or independent engineer, depending upon whether it is a public funded project or a PPP project. One major change we have made of now, instead of having two different consultants in two stages, and the usual pitfalls of having two consultants was that many times when the contractor comes up with problems, this has happened, as this level is not matching and all those things. So the blame goes to the DPR consultant who has already vacated the site long back. We ask him, they come, they will be coming out with some other theory. So to avoid this thing, we have now gone for project management consultant, so who will be there during the project preparation as well as construction. So any problem coming, he has to take the blame, and so that he has to be more cautious during the project preparation stage, so that these kind of problems don't occur. That's one thing. Second thing, we are progressively switching over to high-end technology. Like earlier, we were more dependent on total station for all these topographic surveys. Now we are less dependent. We are more focusing on the LiDAR, aerial drone, photogrammetry, and those kind of things where we can have the survey completed in a very short time span, and we can have better accuracy. So these both things, there are of course a lot many other monitoring mechanisms to see it, but to use the technology. And for that matter, I will just like to add one more thing. Our PMS system has now been made very, very robust. Every day, whatever, if one particular, because in the pavement we have multiple layers starting from subgrade, then subbase,